welcome to the October 9th. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the October 9th, 2012 Fellowship of the Geeks live broadcast. My name is Thomas Chick, and joining us via Google Hangout is Les Webster.
Good evening.
Mike Marlowe.
Hello, hello, hello.
And from the website Galaxy Call Dallas, James Pickering.
Hola, bandidos.
So, how are you guys doing?
Doing well, thanks.
Peachy Keen, groovy, wonderful.
I can't top that. Sorry.
That's kind of tough. I know. Hope everybody's having a good couple weeks. Welcome to believe it or not, the last quarter of 2012. It's hard to believe.
Say it isn't so.
This year, it seems like this year just started and it's almost over.
I'm serious. Had so many plans for this year, and now I'm looking back going, I didn't do anything. Sorry.
Unfortunately, I know that. Go ahead, Mike.
Apparently, you made a lot of plans. That was.
You spent the entire year making plans, and in 2013, you can achieve them.
I plan to plan, so I don't have time to fail.
There you go. There you go. Before we start on tonight's topic, there was a couple things I kind of want to mention. First of all, for those who are in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and of course we're based out of Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. Fan Days convention at the Irving Convention Center is less than 2 weeks away. It's from October 19th to 21st. Very impressive list of guests being there, even though we've had a couple cancellations, but it's still pretty impressive. And I'm excited about it. This is the first time that they're doing 3 days, and I think it was due, especially with them bringing in the guests that they're doing. Leading off with, it'll be Stan Lee, and you've got Bruce Campbell, and on and on and on. Pretty impressive list.
No. It's not on and on and on. Felicia Day. Am I the only one that's smitten with her?
No, I am.
She wouldn't have a career if there weren't a lot of people smitten with her. I mean, come on. Not that she's not a good actress. I'm just,
Yeah, you're just,
She fits an awesome niche. No doubt about it.
Trying to figure out if that was innuendo or not.
Oh, boy.
And we're off to a good start here.
The class just went.
Fellowship After Dark.
Let's get the smooth jazz going in the background.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, there at the Fan Days, you do have Gina Torres, Aston, Robert Englund. Gosh, who else?
I keep forgetting that Freddie's going to be there this year.
Well, I didn't want to go through the entire list. That would take the rest of the show, but go ahead.
Well, who else got just a one favorite that they're looking forward to seeing? Because, I mean, y'all already know I'm really going to be looking forward to seeing Felicia. But, Thomas, do you have a favorite?
On the celebrity side or on the comic side?
Well, you can do one of each.
Okay. Well, I definitely would like to meet Howard Chaykin.
And for those of us that are new to the comic book side, he does what?
Well, the current thing he has out right now is Black Kiss 2, but he did American Flag. The Avengers 1959 miniseries that was out earlier this year, he did that. He's been around a long, long time. Those that are classic Star Wars fans, especially the Marvel books, he did the artwork for the original adaptation, or the adaptation to the original movie. That's his art.
Cool.
Ethan Van Sciver, I wouldn't mind seeing him, talking to him. He did the art on Green Lantern Rebirth, Flash Rebirth. He was co-writing Firestorm for the New 52.
Mm-hmm.
And he just did the art for the latest Green Lantern annual. So that would give everybody kind of an idea of his work. A celebrity side. Dynamare.
Oh yeah.
From
Good choice.
you know,
Yeah.
from Starship Troopers, from the Saw movies. She was also Oracle in the short-lived Birds of Prey TV series.
Yep. I have to admit, I'm like, after Starship Troopers, what? She did more stuff? Who cares?
So what about you guys, Les?
Of course, the one I do want to see is, and hopefully he'll have a panel, is Bruce Campbell.
Mm-hmm.
Because he puts on a great show when he's just doing a Q&A. Also, you've got Alan Tudyk from Serenity.
Wash, yep.
And you've got Ann Lockhart from the comics side. Al Plastino, who was a Superman artist from the 50s and 60s. And of course, like Thomas had mentioned, Howard Chaykin is going to be there. So
That's one of your favorites.
that is one of my favorites. So I'll try to dig up everything I can that he was attached to.
Oh, come on.
And he even did the GI combat story this past month, the Haunted Tank story.
And who was that again?
That was Howard Chaykin did the artwork for that.
Okay.
So I mean, there's a lot of people, and it's going to be tough to try to get everybody, but hopefully I'll be able to see as many as I can.
You don't want to be that guy that brings a small box filled with stuff that be autographed.
No.
Here are my life's treasures. Please sign them.
I'm going to bring the large box. Two-wheeler.
You're the guy that walks through the door and the entire line goes, oh.
Yeah, that's right. Just a sigh of desperation.
It's
Yeah,
not.
for that-
It's not less they're sighing at. It's the shopping cart full of stuff he's buying.
That's right.
And for the record, that is Les Webster who wants to do that. So direct all Venom that direction.
Well, you know my feelings about toting in collections or signatures.
It's a good thing you don't know much about email, because I think you'd get a lot of it, just from the, people finding out that you're going to do that.
So
You might even
send
learn
your
some new
email.
words.
It won't get read, but you can send your email.
Excuse me.
Mike, you got any favorites?
Well, unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to make it that weekend. But if I was, I definitely would want to see Bruce Campbell. Definitely.
Any
Definitely Bruce
artist?
Campbell.
Any artist or anything?
I actually do not have the list of artists in front of me, so I do not remember which artists are going to be there. I haven't really studied up on it because I'm not going to be able to make it. So.
Here, let me see if I can help you there. Doggone it, we'll-
If I may, I think he would want to see Ralph Bakshi.
That's who I was going to say.
Quite possibly, yes.
Yeah, I was just looking at that myself. I'm a big fan of the old movie Wizards from the late 70s. He also did work on the original Lord of the Rings animated from the 70s.
Yeah.
And I'm big fan of the artwork from those two. What was it? Con DFW. Beginning of the year, they had Howard Stout, who did the movie posters for Wizard, and so I got some of that. So I'm probably going to try to track him down and see if I can get some artwork from him for those two.
Cool.
He got notorious because of Mighty Mouse that he did for CBS.
Mm-hmm.
And he did Cool World, which was a very unique look back and forth of live action and animation.
And I have to admit, I enjoyed that movie. Of course, the soundtrack was great too, but the movie was really, really good. And that was, what, about the same time that Who Framed Roger Rabbit came out?
I was thinking it was a couple of years before that.
Was it before that?
Yeah, I think so.
If anybody's out there watching and we're wrong, feel free to let us know.
Absolutely.
The other thing I wanted to mention, this happened after our last show. It's also a local related. Here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, we have a chain of comic stores called Lone Star Comics. Believe it was Saturday the 29th, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
The Dallas store, which was number 2, closed its doors forever. And that store has been around in one location or another since mid-'70s, early '70s.
That was Skillman and Abrams, wasn't it?
It's been in 4 or 5
It's
different
been in
locations.
4, yeah.
It's moved
Yeah.
around quite a bit. It's moved around like 3 times in the last 10 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember it when it was at Forest and 75.
Yeah. And then
That
it
was
moved
back in
in.
the late 70s, early
Yeah.
80s.
And then it moved to Preston Forest. It was there for a long time.
Yes.
That was the first comic store I was ever in. Before then, I got my comics from the convenience store, or there was a little mom and pop bookstore, used bookstore, within walking distance from my house, and I got comics there. And then the Five and Dime had the 3-packs. I got those from there. But the first comic book store I ever went to was Lone Star Comics. Back then, it was Lone Star Comics and Science Fiction, and it was the Dallas store.
Did they sell books along with the comic books?
Oh yeah, it was mainly comics, and then sci-fi books, and then there was a small section of model kits. I don't remember there being any toys or anything, but
I don't even know if they sold
They have
games
some.
back then.
they didn't get into games until about the 90s or so. At one time, they actually carried sports cards.
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
Because that was I'm sorry, Mike. Go ahead.
I remember that when they were on Preston, they had a pretty decent sized rack of sports cards.
Yeah, well, I mean that was the end thing, so I don't blame them for trying to capitalize on it.
I wish there were more stores around that had the kind of business where they could carry a little bit more of that kind of thing. You guys know me and about my sci-fi books, and not just sci-fi, but a little bit of horror, a little bit of mystery, some action thrillers, but basically genre stuff. That because even when you go to the bigger name bookstores, they're going to carry the big name people. If you're into mystery thrillers, the Pattersons and things like that they know is going to sell, but it just seems like the smaller stores usually carry just a little bit more of everything else, and you could find those hard to find titles. And you mentioned the game, or not the gaming kits, but the model kits, and I kind of miss that kind of stuff. Nowadays, for mom and pop stores to stay in business, they have to make sure that everything they have in the store sells. And so that means you kind of get, a real homogeneous mix. Every store kind of looks like every other store.
Yeah. Well, you talking about that reminds me of a store that I know Mike and I frequent a lot back in the late 80s, early 90s. Was Dave's Books in Mesquite. And Dave's Books and Comics. And you talk about, it was half the store was comics, the other half was books. But this was a nice sized store.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Is that the one down on Shiloh?
No, the one in Mesquite, Gus Thomason.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there was a satellite store on Shiloh in Garland, but I'm talking about the one on Gus Thomason in Mesquite. And that was a impressive store.
Yeah, they had a pretty good chunk of that strip mall.
Yeah.
It was big, and they had a lot of really cool stuff in there. You could get lost in their used book section just for hours, just wondering.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'll give you an idea, James, because what it is now is it's a laundromat. That tells you how big the place was.
Yeah, and it's a pretty decent sized laundromat.
Yeah.
Sounds like heaven.
Yeah, it was a nice place. But I think Dave retired and just got out of it, and I think someone took it over, and it was still a bookstore there for a short period of time, but it pretty much died a quick death after he left.
Yeah.
So, but I'm sad to know that Lone Star Dallas is gone. Now, granted, they've got 5 other stores, locations across the DFW area, but it just...
Yeah, but none of them are particularly big. The one thing about the Dallas one was that even whatever location it was at, it was bigger than the others. So that kind of depresses me a little.
Well, the last time they moved, and they were over on Northwest Highway in Abrams. I think that's where they're the last place. It was about as small as some of the other ones.
Oh, really? So, yeah. I remember that one. The last one I was at was the one down on was it Mockingbird or was it Gilman?
Yeah,
down in that area somewhere.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, that was a very impressive site, but they had moved out of that a couple years ago, and that was about the same time they took all the back issues out of the stores. So now they don't have back issues in any of the stores. If you want to do back issues, you need to go to their website. And
well, that's no good.
Well, I kind of understand that to a certain degree, because you open up that space for other stock,
right?
And you can get into a smaller store, which means it would be lesser rent and that kind of stuff. But it's kind of a shame. So, but I just wanted to pass that along, my feelings about that, because it was actually you, James, that I saw the notice about it, because you had shared that information on the Facebook. So thank you for that. Otherwise, I would not have known. So
that's me getting information and passing it on.
Okay, tonight's topic. It's that time of year again where, well, it used to be where late September, early October was where the new season of TV shows pop up, and to a certain degree it's still that way. It's changed up a little bit the last few years, where new shows can pop up the first of the year, and they can also pop up during the summertime and still go. But for the most part, it's usually September and October. So we're in the new TV season, and I thought about what shows would make good comics, because at one time there used to be a lot of licensed comics that were based off TV shows, and it's kind of died off. I guess about the time I got into comics in the 70s, it kind of died off a little bit from there. Back in the 50s and 60s, that was the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
But it's kind of died off from there. But I've got a list here of TV shows who recently have had comics. Of course, the obvious ones here, you got Doctor Who, you got The Simpsons and Futurama. True Blood has just started up. Supernatural had one going for a while. Falling Skies is off and on. Castle has had a couple one-shots, I believe.
Really?
Huh?
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Coming out tomorrow, and of course we're recording this October 9th. Coming out tomorrow, the 10th, is the MacGyver comic.
Really?
Based off the old TV show, yes, and it's actually co-written by the creator.
Huh.
So, and there's currently a comic based on the old, not old, but the Smallville.
Mhm.
They're doing like the next season, and of course Buffy and Angel. But there's also going to be one based on the show that starts up tomorrow, Arrow. It's going to start off digitally, but it'll be it's going to be a print comic too. But I was just thinking of what shows would be good candidates for comic books, and I mentioned the first name I have here. I mentioned Les before. I'm like, I don't understand why this has not been done yet. It's The Big Bang Theory.
I remember seeing an ad recently, it was either an ad or a T-shirt, I forget which actually was them like on the cover of a comic book, which makes it funny, I think, that there isn't a comic book.
Yeah.
I'm with you, Thomas. I don't understand why they haven't done this. There's such a following for it, and I know that the problem is in comics that you may have a huge following or a movie coming out, but the comic doesn't do any more sales than it would if it was just Superman number 15.
Yeah. Well,
But I agree with you. Like I said, I agree with you that this is a show that could do a comic without a problem.
I don't think so. I mean, the comics, it's nerds and comics are involved. It seems like it's a no-brainer, but only thing I've seen was, and I think I mentioned this before to you guys, was last September, not last month, but September of last year, to promote the fact that the Big Bang Theory was going in syndication, or the repeats were going in syndication, that they did this big publicity where they had all the characters drawn up as superheroes. It was on bags, there was posters and everything, and that's when I first had the idea of or why I had the thought, I was like, why is there not a comic book based on this?
Well, I just found an article that it's on comicbookdaily.com, and it was asking if the Big Bang Theory was good for comics in general, as far as getting people into collecting and that type of thing. And where that image came from was the fact that Big Bang Theory advertises in DC Comics, and they do have the image of all of them dressed up as superheroes, and those are the images that you see on the bags, and that's part of the ad that you see in the comic books.
Yeah.
I'd put the link in the chat thing, but it doesn't allow me to copy and paste. I guess that's to cut out on spammers. But if you go over to comicbookdaily.com and look up Big Bang Theory, you can see the article.
Okay.
It was posted November last year. But that's what some of the guys from Blue Beetle Comics got together, and they were discussing. They get together on Wednesdays and discuss comics. And somebody made the comment about Big Bang Theory isn't good for comics, and they had a debate on it. So,
well, we know one person who would think it's not, but
Do I know this person?
Yes. And I'm not going to go any further than that, but that's okay.
I got a new name for him.
Uh-oh.
Contrary Man.
Oh, that's perfect.
Which explains it all. ladies and
Yeah.
I hope he doesn't see this.
Probably not.
Um,
But a couple more I have on my list. A couple are obvious. Grimm and Once Upon a Time,
mhm.
since those are basically inspired by fables and the Grimm fairy tales by Zenescope and that kind of stuff. You know.
That's why I have a problem with that choice, like I told you before, because it was inspired by fables. Wasn't fables taken to the studios and they said, no, we don't think that'll fly. But as soon as the people that with fables walked out the door, the studio said, hey, let's get on this and see what we can
Well,
up.
supposedly, the guys who created Once Upon a Time had brought it to them before the whole thing with fables being shopped. Is that true? I don't know. I wasn't there. Who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be very questionable to me to have somebody shop fables and then turn around and go, oh, and look, now we got Once Upon a Time, because to me that's, pretty close.
Yeah. So, do y'all have any suggestions? I know there's a lot of demand out there for a Dexter comic.
Well, I thought there was already one.
I think
it's hitting the shelves pretty soon.
Marvel's Dexter Comics knocked into 2013.
okay.
So soon being relative.
Yeah.
Go along with their other number ones that they're going to flaunt on you.
Yeah, it was announced last year's New York Comic Con. Marvel is publishing comic books by Dexter creator Jeff Lindsay, set in the continuity of his series of Dexter novels. But now it's been delayed from October to January of 2013. Okay. So not too much longer.
It's not that bad.
No. Well, two that you didn't mention a while ago. Now, of course, they're probably I don't know if they've ended or not, but Warehouse 13 and it may have been 3. Warehouse 13, Eureka, and
Lost Girl.
Is Lost Girl one?
Alphas?
Alpha was on my list. Warehouse 13, I think they've had a mini-series, but I don't. But
was it just like a little short run? Okay.
I think so, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, it was a 5-issue run, and it was a great story. It was one of those that they could adapt for TV.
There's certain ones, like you were talking about Big Bang Theory. Big Bang Theory, it's more of an episodic type show, which I guess you could probably turn it into, because, to me, TV show needs to be more story arc. And so, granted, you've got Wallowitz going up in space and that type of thing, but it's not necessarily driven by an underlying, storyline.
Right, it's a sitcom.
Yeah.
Sitcoms tend, at least in this country, to not really have much in the way of story. You get to get more into an hour-long, I don't want to say drama specifically, but an hour-long comedy drama or something like that would work a little better. See, I was going to say Eureka and Warehouse 13 too.
Yeah, if Big Bang Theory had more of a storyline to it, I would say that would be perfect for a comic book. But just the way of course, if they wanted to, they could probably turn it into one. And just because it doesn't have one in the TV show doesn't mean they can't do it in the comic.
Right.
Well, I don't know. I don't agree that it can't be done because It's because the TV show is episodic. Because at one time, comics were episodic. You know, this is something we want to talk about sometime
True.
at some point down in the future. It was all done in one,
Yeah.
and now that's unheard of in the comics. Even it's so much so that they even trump it up when it is one. It's hey, it's just a one shot. You know.
Hey, great! I'll buy that because I don't want to invest too much time in something I'm not going to like. You know.
Yeah. What? Well.
What they don't realize is that if they had, well, they could probably. It would, it's hard to not to slip into marketing speak with this one because I mean it's all a marketing issue. They probably could sell more one shots if they marketed them properly, but they don't want to change their marketing ploys from what they are now because once you get that machine rolling, it's hard to stop.
Money comes in and like, hey, we want more of that.
Yeah.
The other movie I was thinking of, Fringe, I think, had a comic book out, but again, it may have been just a little short run and not an actual continuation.
Yes, it was a short run. But it was also good. The one I was thinking of, I know they do a comic, but it's not a monthly, but I would like to see Phineas and Ferb as a monthly. I think that the gags are there, and it's not that difficult to put them out. They don't have to do a 22-page story. They can do 2 11-page. They can do 3 8-page or something like that if they want.
Now, I have to ask, what is Phineas and Ferb just that funny? Because, I mean, at FinCon, they had panels on Phineas and Ferb. Every time I turn around, it's, you know, Phineas and Ferb is somewhere in there, and I'm like, am I really missing out? You know, should I jump on that, or?
What do you think, Mike?
I have not seen it.
Oh,
I'm not
the
the
way you
one.
reacted, I was curious.
I know.
No, I thought it was. I just thought it was interesting that they had made a big stink about it at FenCon. I thought that was.
Yeah, there was. I know of one definitely on Sunday. I don't know if they did any on Saturday, but there was a panel on Phineas and Ferb.
I find it amusing because they do. It's like similar to The Simpsons, and they use a lot of pop culture references, and they update some old themes. You have the boys who are always, and this is over a summer, they build something, their sister's trying to bust them, their pet platypus is a secret agent, and he's going after the same Dr. Doofenshmirtz every week.
Oh, is that Perry? Is that with the Where's Perry
Yes.
game? Okay.
That's right. And so it's just funny just to see Doofenshmirtz, who is a total idiot,
I love that name.
and get defeated every time. But it's funny the way they go about it, the way they angle it. They did an episode based on The Wizard of Oz. They did an episode on a Hawaiian vacation. So you can do various things, and to me, this is something that they could toss into a weekly, or I'm sorry, a monthly. They could do a monthly on this, and I think it would do well. Be a good kids title. It's good for kids. It's good for adults.
And kids will love to say Doofenshmirtz over and over and over.
That's right.
Can you blame them? I mean, geez.
I know I'm going to use it a couple of times.
And Mother says, "Watch your language," but you said, "But Mom."
It's on Phineas and Ferb.
That's right. They could, as far as I'm concerned, they could bring back CSI in comic book form. It was short-lived too, and it wasn't bad. It was a mystery, so there was something to it. I doubt seriously that you could do a one and done on it, but I think you could string it out for three issues and have a good story.
I'm sorry, James. Go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just going to say in that same vein, NCIS.
Yes.
But I love NCIS. I mean, it's going to, what, 10th season coming up? And Mark Harmon and the rest of the crew, I mean, the entire cast there's not a weak spot in that entire cast, and I think that's why they've been on for 10 years. And just the way the stories are told, you know, I'd love to see that. That would be a really good comic book form also. I'd love to see that.
Well, I was also going to mention Criminal Minds.
Mm-hmm. That's one my wife loves to watch.
Monk.
Monk would be fun.
Well, you know, has anybody seen the new Elementary with Lucy Liu and I can't remember the new guy's name that's playing Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah, him.
Johnny, what's his name?
Johnny Miller?
Johnny Miller.
Johnny Lee Miller, yeah. When I watched the pilot episodes the other night, and all I could think of was it's Monk, but with a bigger hang-up. Well, not with a bigger hang-up, but not quite as... I really don't know how to describe it.
It's like the bastard son of Monk and House.
There you go. That is perfectly put.
Who would want to carry that baby?
Carry it with tongs, man.
And Lucy Liu, I'm just waiting for her to, you know, have enough of it to slit his throat. I don't care how much of a genius you are.
One of the many takes on Sherlock Holmes.
I know they do a web comic for Burn Notice,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm kind of surprised they haven't put that into print. But it may. And I'm trying to think. I want a good mystery comic book, something that makes me really think.
There aren't any good mysteries on TV anymore.
Pardon me?
There aren't any good mysteries on TV anymore.
Well, the one I do enjoy is Psych, because it's got enough humor in it that can keep my attention also. But there is a mystery to it where I need to solve something.
Oh, sorry, I didn't realize Psych was still on the air. I actually like Psych, but I haven't
Psych
watched
is
it.
good.
I haven't watched it in a couple. I like it, but I haven't watched it in a couple of years, so I forgot it was still on.
It's one of those that they do the rotation for the airing. You know, like Burn Notice is off right now, but it's coming back in December. Another one is like, I think Suits is off, but it comes back in January.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those rotational things that...
They'll take a full season and split it up in the middle.
Right. So they'll do 3 7 episode sets or something like that to get you to watch a full season, which I think is a good idea. Well, I've already been over that, but I don't know that Psych could do a comic per se, because a lot of theirs is sight gags.
Yeah, there's a lot of
True.
visual stuff there.
Yeah. The Burn Notice that you were talking about, the webcomic, is that the 3-volume that they've got where you can download it to your phone or read it online?
Yes.
Okay. It's pretty impressive. They've gone 3 volumes with it.
Yeah. And that's why I think that they need to put it in print to let the rest of us dinosaurs read it.
Computer, what's that?
Yeah. Turn the computer on. I love you, computer.
Hello, Mr. Computer.
Les just wants his comics on radio like they're supposed to be.
That's why my mother said I had a face for radio.
Excuse me.
Tune in next week when you can hear... Hello, computer. No, another one that I was thinking of, I didn't watch the first season, but they brought it back for, I think it's the second season or something. It's American Horror Story Asylum. And I think what they're going to do is it's going to be little stories kind of set around the asylum, set in that setting, instead of having a all-expansive seasonal story arc or anything. And to me, that would make a pretty good comic.
Are they bringing back the original cast? Are they going to be in this or not?
Let me see here. Jessica Lange, she was in the first one, so she's back.
Yeah.
Zachary Quinto was he in the first one?
I don't remember him.
All right, they're bringing him in. Let's see here.
Boy, he's busy.
Okay, returning cast members from season 1 include Lang. Okay, Zachary Quinto says he was in the first one.
Okay.
Sarah Paulson, Evan Peters, and Lily Rabe. And new to the series are actors James Cronwell, Joseph Fiennes, Franca Potente, Jenna Dewan, Adam Levine, and Clea Duvall.
Okay.
And then Adam Levine, isn't that the guy from X Factor? Or The Voice, whatever? Let me look that up.
I don't know.
Mm.
I know Connie Britton has got Nashville now, so she's not. I can't see her being on American Gothic.
Yeah, Adam Levine. He's the singer from Maroon 5. Huh, that's interesting.
Another singer thinks he can act.
Look what they got David Bowie.
Hey, don't knock it. There's a couple of popular band people doing comics right now.
Oh, yeah.
That's true.
Well, I have to ask, was it Trace Adkins come out like a year and a half ago? And did he actually help with the drawing of it, or did he just lend his name to it? Does anybody know?
No idea.
New one on me.
What
No, I'll
title
have to
was?
look up.
Just curious what the title was. I don't even remember a title.
McBain. I think that's the one he's talking about.
Yeah, that's it.
From
The one based on the Saturday Night Live skit?
No, that's MacGruber.
Oh,
McLeod.
I was afraid. I'm wondering if someone was going to bring up the Simpsons reference, but no, I guess
Oh,
not.
yeah.
But everybody brought everything else but that one up.
Luke McBain.
It's so overdone, Thomas.
Luke McBain.
Trace Adkins is Luke McBain, a 4-part comic book series that's not going to be turned into a novel.
Yeah.
And appropriately on the label 12 Gauge Comics.
Hey, 12 Gauge put some good stuff out.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
Little plug for them. Number 2 of Anti comes out
Anti,
tomorrow.
yeah.
Anti.
Took a look at that. It looks good.
Yep.
I think one of us reviewed number 1.
You reviewed number 1,
Yeah. I'll look at number 2. It looks cool, too.
and I reviewed Ice number 4 for them. And Ice was a very good miniseries. Highly recommend that. ICE standing for Immigrations and Custom Enforcement.
Has anybody got an opinion, or, well, to have that opinion, has anybody watched 666 Park Avenue?
no,
No.
I have not.
Nope.
That's one I'm going to have to try to find the... I was going to watch it, and for some reason my DVR didn't work that night, so I kind of lost out on it, but I love Terry O'Quinn. He's been in so much stuff, it's ridiculous. He played Howard Hughes in The Rocketeer.
Here.
Yeah.
There's other things that he's been in since then that I can't remember offhand, but
Like Lost.
Lost.
yeah, he was in that. But he's come back as the owner of this apartment building, and it's something. There's something in the basement that is evil, you know, and he and his wife kind of control everything. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, Vanessa Williams plays his wife.
Yeah.
Lucky man.
Ooh, no kidding.
But just kind of looking at that one, that to me, since every show is going to have in common him and one couple that lives there in the apartment building, but the stories will center around other people that come into the apartment building and then leave through either their own volition or something happens.
Mysteriously.
Exactly. And so, to me, that would make a great comic book, too. To me, that kind of all reminds me of some of the old eerie and creepy issues where they've got a central character, but it would always deal about somebody else.
So this is going to be a stationary version of Wagon Train.
You know what? I didn't even think about that.
You're going to have these intermingling stories, and the people may live there for the rest of their lives, but you won't see them after 2 episodes.
And I just realized I threw myself in that old age group when I said I remember that. Wait a little
Wagon Train? What's Wagon Train?
Yeah, you youngsters just be quiet.
Oh, I remember a TV series long, long ago that was once referred to as the Wagon Train in the Stars.
Yeah. Yeah, but we weren't around to watch it when it was on originally. No.
No. That was a few years before either of us was born.
Yep.
Okay. I get the hint.
Hey, that hurt!
Okay, let's switch it around then. We talked about
gasoline at 33 cents a gallon.
Uphill both ways.
We talked about what shows would make good comics, what comic book series would make a good TV show, and I'll start off again. It's something we've talked about before. Y: The Last Man. I just can't see it working as a movie. It really needs to be a series.
Yes. And I think we discussed it. Someone like HBO or Showtime could do this and pull it off.
I think TNT can pull it off.
AMC?
Or AMC.
But I want the raw part of it. That's why I would say.
Have you not watched Southland?
Yeah.
Okay. That can get pretty raw. I mean, they bleep out the language, but you know it's there.
Yeah, but that's why I'm saying Showtime or HBO could do it, plus have a bigger budget on it. Because TNT and TBS are still fighting their way through Fallen Skies.
Yeah, but I think this will catch on better than. You're going to limit it if you put it on Showtime or HBO. Now, granted, Dexter and Games of Thrones, they're doing well and all that, but
I don't know that you're going to limit it. Well, I mean, it might limit a bit, but you've got iTunes and you've got Amazon,
Netflix and all that, and Hulu. That's true.
It'll get picked up and it'll get seen.
True.
I don't think that's as big a limiter anymore as it used to be.
That's true. Fair point.
There was a mini-series called Super Crooks that I think that somebody could do as a movie, because it's not long enough to do a big series on. And as a series, I would say it'd have to be 6 episodes. This wouldn't last, but I think it could be
a mini-series
skillfully done in a movie. I thought it was an entertaining read, and I think that it could do well on TV. Or a movie, actually a movie rather than TV.
Next.
Well, from our meeting we had a couple of weeks ago about our intro comics, somebody that's never read, been into comics before.
Yeah.
What's a gateway? I mentioned my favorite right now is The Massive, which is the eco catastrophe, and you've got this one ship that was out doing eco watch, trying to find people that are doing bad and harming Mother Earth. And then all of a sudden you've got all this worldwide catastrophe happening all at one time. And they're roaming the globe looking for their mothership or sister ship. I don't like to use mothership unless you got grays in it. But I think that would be a great TV show. You know, you never know when you're going to find the massive. It's a constant search for it, and so you've got the episode to episode type thing. I think it would be a wonderful course. Who do you hope would pick it up?
Yeah.
To me, it seems NBC seems a little bit friendlier to shows like that, where Fox has just got this history of picking them up and shooting them down within a season or two, and
it makes you wonder what they're expecting. I mean, I don't know. Probably shouldn't get too sidetracked on that, but you have to
that
wonder
would be another show.
What the hell is Fox thinking? I mean, yeah, we'll put that one on the list of topics, man.
Just remember Family Guy when Peter was reading the list off of TV shows that if they failed, Family Guy could get back on. And it was like a 2-minute list of shows that had failed on Fox.
Yeah. Well, somebody had put out an infographic the other day showing the percentage of shows that were out and how long they had lasted. And like 3/4 of the pie chart was made up of shows that had only lasted one season. And I think there were like 16 or 18 shows that had lasted one season and then they got killed. One show went 2 seasons. Then you had none of them lasted 3 seasons. And then you would get 4, 5, and more. You had maybe 3 or 4 shows out of all that. And it was just kind of depressing, because out of that 16 to 18 that only lasted one season, that half of them could have went 3 or 4 seasons tops. And to me, that's a pretty good run for a TV show.
Well, they're too quick to pull the plug.
Well, yeah,
they don't get immediate ratings, so they start moving them to different nights, and that's when you start losing the loyal viewers because they're used to them being on one night, and then all of a sudden you move them to another night, and then just
It makes me wonder. Maybe they need to quit canceling the shows and fire their marketing department for not making it enticing enough to the people out there. Because it's not like these shows are real hardcore niche type shows. To me, they'd pretty much appeal to everybody. It's just they don't market it to the point where people will look at that and go, you know what, I can watch that. But who knows? Maybe people out there are that fickle. They don't want their stories that fanciful. They want stuff grounded more in reality, which is really sad.
Is that the reason why there's so much reality TV there?
Again, that's another show topic.
Because reality shows are real.
Again, another show topic.
Real life sucks as it is. I don't need to watch it on TV.
We could all go off on that one. But it's probably best that we don't.
Okay. All right, let's do some more suggestions. I've got a couple here, unless someone wants to jump in real quick.
Please go ahead.
I know this is a book that Mike and I have read a couple of issues and we've enjoyed. I don't know about you guys, but Hoax Hunters.
Yes.
Which one?
Hoax Hunters.
Well, I thought you said House Hunters, and I'm like, huh?
Yeah, you want to talk about TV that could make good comics. Anything on HGTV.
I got my new do-it-yourself comic book.
Holmes on Holmes. That guy needs to be in a comic book somewhere. He's a comic book character if I ever saw one.
See, that's what I'm talking about.
Hoax Hunters is just offbeat enough that it would be good TV series. Now, did you guys read the Zero issue as well as the 1, 2, and on?
See, I'm going to have to look that up because that's the first I've heard of it.
I didn't see a Zero issue. Did you, Mike?
I don't remember a Zero issue.
That's where I first caught it, when the Zero issue came out, because you got the background of the astronaut, how the astronaut came to be. and that's a major part of their story now. So what happened there? What caused his transformation?
That may have been part of the free comic book day.
No, it was a selling issue, but it was just the zero.
No, I didn't. I never saw it. I don't know about Mike, but
I don't remember it.
yeah.
Doesn't mean I didn't see it. I just don't remember it.
Yeah.
Can always look up and see if we can find one for you guys.
Let's see.
I'll throw one out since
Sure.
we've got a bit of a lull here.
Okay. Well, I was waiting for someone else to jump in before I start naming off a couple more.
Yeah, well, I'll jump in there.
Hey.
One that I think is going to prove interesting, and that might actually give Les the mystery he's looking for, mind management.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Mike, which one again?
Mind management.
Mind management? Okay.
Yeah. It's. I mean, the first arc is just about to wrap up, and it's been an interesting kind of wandering search type thing. So somebody, the main character, trying to solve the mystery of this plane crash that took place a few years before.
Actually, I'm looking at the synopsis on it. It does sound pretty good. Reporting on a commercial flight where everyone aboard lost their memories, a young journalist stumbles onto a much bigger story, the top-secret mind management program. Her ensuing journey involves weaponized psychics, hypnotic advertising, talking dolphins, and seemingly immortal pursuers as she attempts to find the flight's missing passenger, the man who was mind management's greatest success and its most devastating failure. Now, when it said hypnotic advertising, I thought about that TV or that movie came out a couple weeks back called Branded, and I'm like, oh, that's no, I don't want to see that. If y'all didn't see it, consider yourselves lucky, because I almost went to it and people were coming out of the theater saying the advertisement, the trailer, and everything that you saw for it was totally nothing like the movie. And it was to prove a point that advertising is not what you think it is. And it's how it affects our minds and how it makes us think one thing when it's actually telling us something else. Which, that's great, but don't make me pay, huh?
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, that's great, but don't make me pay $10 to $12 for a movie ticket just to find that out.
Was that the Spurlock movie?
No, this one was called Branded. It had Malcolm McDowell in it. Let me see. It had some really, really cool effects in it, like big giant billboards turning into space aliens and trying to eat you and everything, and it just, I mean, it looked really, really cool. Their website's really, really convoluted too, so I don't even know why I went there.
I haven't heard of this one.
Yeah, it's, like I said, it hit really, really quick, and then in the theater, it didn't last long at all, because again, people walked in, and I'm sure a lot of people walked out. There were some that stuck around till the end, but they were not happy when it was all over with, because the movie was nothing like what you thought the trailer was about.
Okay.
But yeah, the mind management, just looking at that one, it's got that whole world order conspiracy type thing going on.
Yeah. And the whole thing, with the final issue in that arc, it looks like the whole thing's going to get unlocked and just open it up really wide, and so that lots of fun stuff could take place.
Here's two quick blurbs that they wrote about it, it's like reviews or something. From the creator of 3 Story and Super Spy, and then Akira meets Heart of Darkness by way of 100 Bullets. Yeah.
Okay. Interesting description of it.
And last on that Hoax Hunters, I would like to, if you can find that number 0, I would like that one.
Okay.
I will place my order with this window.
Is this the go, or are you gonna have it here?
I'm going to eat it here.
Do you want fries with that?
Do fries go with that variant?
Yeah. We'll see what we can do.
Let's see. Well, talking about, y'all know me, I'm a big Birds of Prey fan. Why did the first Birds of Prey, I will admit, I have not seen the Birds of Prey TV show.
Okay.
Why did it fail?
I think, personally, I just think it didn't have the following. It wasn't the flashy superheroes out there. Yeah, they did have Oracle and Black Canary and Huntress, but you're talking Oracle, Black Canary, and Huntress, who are unknown, essentially, except for DC fans.
Yeah.
Marvel fans wouldn't know who they are. Indie fans didn't care. And it just didn't have enough action in it as far as even a guest shot of a superhero. Or Superman or anybody.
Well, with that being said, do you think, because they've already said that they're probably going to bring Black Canary into the Arrow show, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Eventually.
Do you think if they brought her in and kind of worked her up here, they'd be able to spin it off into a new Birds of Prey? Or would it be even worth it?
They could, because they're supposed to have Huntress in on one episode.
Well, I go back and I think about that again, since I didn't watch it, so I don't know if it was acting, story, or whatever.
The stories were inconsistent. I mean, I remember watching them, and 1 week it would be really, really good, and then next week it's just like it was not that good of a story, and then it seemed like it alternated like that. There was no consistency in the stories.
Well, and I've kind of thought that with, I got the Birds of Prey Volume 1 trade for the DC-52, and it wasn't necessarily the consistency of the story, it was actually the continuity. There was one scene where Starling, I think it was, she had gotten, the whole story arc was them being mind-controlled. Some guy would start reciting a nursery rhyme, and they would hear it, and it would basically make them go blank, and their subconscious would take over and turn them against their friends. Well, they had all decided they were going to split up and then meet back at this one place, and Starling had written on her arm the location that Black Canary had written on Starling's arm where everybody was supposed to meet back. Well, she ends up going to a different location, shows on her arm that there was a different location that she's supposed to go to, and the people that had been tracking her from before had ambushed her there. And so basically she was saying that Black Canary set me up. Well, the next issue, there's nothing said about it. They're back to fighting and doing their thing together, and the only thing that they ever mentioned was, well, that explains why I got jumped and I thought Black Canary did it. Well, at the end of the previous episode, or previous story, you would think that she's been jumped by guys that are chasing her. She thinks Black Canary set her up, and she actually got hit in one of the panels. You would think the next time it pops up, the next time they get together, she's going to beat down on Black Canary. Nothing like that happened at all. To me, it was just like, hey, they're back together, they're fighting with alongside each other. What happened in the last couple of panels back there? So it makes you wonder, same guys writing that story were the ones writing the TV show.
It's kind of a sitcom look. We'll fight. We'll make up at the end, but the next week we're going to fight again. We forget that we're best buds.
All the magic happens when the cameras go dark.
That's right.
Kind of goes back to our previous show, continuity.
Mm-hmm. Now, Birds of Prey TV series did introduce Harley Quinn, but they didn't use her, and that was a shame. It was Sarah that played Harley Quinn, and she mainly played it as the Doctor.
Dr. Quinzel.
Dr. Quinzel. But
well, I think.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Les. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, if you follow the book, when they mention Dr. Quinzel, you're going, wait a second. Even if you didn't know that's what her name was, and you went Quinzel, that's too much like Quinn, Harley.
Mm-hmm.
You could piece it together. And of course, they did have Ashley Scott on the TV series, so that was well worth it too.
Well, what I was going to say was, I think they were going to lead up to the point to where, I don't know if they would actually put her in the outfit or not, but they were. I mean, she was doing a little puppet work from behind the scenes during the series, but we never really got to the point to where we showed it. Okay, she's Harley Quinn. Whether they would gone that way or not, who knows? But a couple of other ones I had thought of, and it's kind of one of them's Bat themed. Gotham Central.
Mm-hmm.
I think Gotham Central would be an awesome, because that book for the most part was a police drama. Just every once in a while they would deal with some of the supervillain threats.
Mm-hmm.
That's the Michael Lark series.
Greg Pak and Ed Brubaker wrote a good deal of the book, a good deal of the series.
One that I like is Joe Eisma?
Yeah.
Morning Glories.
Morning Glories. That's another one I thought of.
Yeah, I think that would be a good one too. I've only read the first collected volume of the series and everything, but I like the story, and I definitely think it would fit. It might be another one that as much as I hate to say it, the CW could pull off, because it fits that television audience, young teens, the pretty people, and you throw in a little bit of horror with it, a little bit of conspiracy theory. I think that would fit right in.
Yep.
That would be their focus group.
Mm-hmm.
Because you've got Vampire Diaries, Supernatural,
Mm-hmm. Vampire Academy.
Girls. Yeah, Gossip Girl was running its last season. They had One Tree Hill. Yeah, it's something that could probably fit.
Yeah.
How does he know this stuff?
You kind of wonder.
What is Les's alter ego?
Obviously a teenage girl.
Wait a minute.
Hey, wait a minute. Do you play World of Warcraft?
No, but I do like Avenue Q.
Wow.
I gotta go download that video again. I love that one. That is what you were talking about, Les, right?
Yeah, the World of Warcraft characters.
Yeah.
Singing. Yeah, that's classic.
Any other suggestions?
I really think somebody should make a TV show out of Walking Dead.
The true Walking Dead.
A good Walking Dead.
Ooh!
Whoa! Once again, that was Les Webster.
Sorry, but
Les Webster stirring the pot with his machete.
Someone's trying to burn our bridges, and that's not good.
Well, now, Tom, in his defense, they say, if you want people to watch you, you got to be confrontational.
That's true.
Let's see, what other comic book literary icon can we bring down?
Can we set fire to?
Skewer.
Naked in front of?
How about Deadpool?
Ooh, go for it.
Yeah, I would say that there is a following out there that if you made Deadpool a TV series, people would watch it. And I'm not sure that, I don't think that the big three could handle it because the readership would want to make sure that we cover everything. And therefore they would look to TBS, TNT.
No, that would definitely be a Showtime HBO.
I was going to say, because Deadpool, he's a wisecracker and he's got a foul mouth, so,
And he's violent.
Yeah. If you cut any of that out, basically, yeah, there would be fires. There would be,
Riots
and mob justice. Yeah.
dogs and cats living together.
Nice Ghostbusters reference.
Mass hysteria.
I agree with Gabby Johnson.
Oh, speaking about that reference, I don't know if y'all heard the thing about Alex Karras. We're jumping off topic there, but have y'all heard about that?
Yes, I did hear that.
What is it? What kind of cancer is it?
I want to say it was kidney related.
But they're saying he only has a few days to live.
Yeah, when I first checked on it, they were talking about. In fact, the headline said minutes, hours, but he has got.
All I've heard was days.
Yeah, well, it's sensationalism in the headlines.
Of course.
Let's see.
Kidney failure, they say.
Yeah, this was off of Fox News. Yeah, it's deteriorated, and the team, NFL team, Detroit Lions, are already extending sympathies. He's been suffering from dementia. He's 77. Been suffering from dementia. Come on, oh, okay, there it is. He's been only given a few days to live because of recent kidney failure. And then he's had dementia for several years, but yeah, they're giving him just days. In fact,
I didn't know he had dementia. I had not heard of that.
I'm surprised nothing's happened so far, because usually when they talk about kidney failure and all the other complications, it does not take long at all.
Well, I should not be surprised, and I'm sorry to interrupt there, Mike, because he is part of that lawsuit with the NFL.
In fact, I want to say that they just recently got on it. Let's see. His wife, who was also the wife of his character on Webster, said he was formally diagnosed with dementia several years ago and has had symptoms for more than a dozen years. She and Karras were among those who filed suit nearly 6 months ago in U.S. District Court in Philadelphia.
Okay.
In fact, for folks that may be watching this, if you don't know who Alex Karras is, he played Mongo in Blazing Saddles, and he was also the father of Webster back during the 80s, the sitcom comedy. And for the most, I can't remember how many years, he was Detroit Lions, played for the Detroit Lions. Yeah, he's, in fact, just a great career. His entire NFL career was with the Lions before retiring in 1970 at the age of 35. He was a first-team All-Pro in 1960, 61, and 65, made the Pro Bowl 4 times. He missed the 63 season when he was suspended by the commissioner in a gambling probe. Did not know that.
No, I didn't know that either.
But he was recognized by the Pro Football Hall of Fame as a defensive tackle on the All-Decade team of the 1960s.
I'm sorry, Mike. You were going to say?
Oh, I was just going to talk about kidney failure a bit. It is possible. Yes, it often. It is not easy to survive that, but my father lived for 3 years after his kidney
Really?
failed. Yeah. He was getting dialysis 3 times a week afterwards, but he got around okay for a little while there. So it's not necessarily a certain death knell, but it's a tough one.
Well, I have to admit, it's coming up on a year ago, I lost a friend. He was 64. And it was almost a year to the day that he actually went into the hospital. That, of course, he had all kinds of problems. He was a diabetic. Then he, while he was in the hospital, he had a stent or a shunt, one of the two, pacemaker. Then they had to put him on dialysis. He's going to dialysis 3 times a week. And, of course, he hung on for about a year. But there towards the end, I got to see him. They shipped him off down to Brownsville. And for about a month before he passed on, I went to see him down there, and he was almost like a catatonic state. He was so far gone. And it was just one of those things where, of course, he had no family. All his parents had all passed on. The half-brothers that he had, they didn't care anything about him. And I didn't have a power of attorney over him or anything, because I would have basically said, do not resuscitate on him, because he would have a heart attack, and they would go in, put him in surgery, bring him back. And I think that he did that like maybe once every 2 weeks he would have a heart attack.
Wow.
So, yeah, it may not take you right away, but, boy, it just makes it one of those things where you wish it would. So, you know, Alex Karras there, you know, thinking about him, it's one of those things where I kind of hope it takes him fast, because if he does, you know, kind of come away from this, quality of life is going to be just pitiful.
What I recall Karras doing was his relating of the story of Tom Dempsey's record field goal against the Lions. And to paraphrase, he rushed, then he just decided, well, I'm not going to really get there, so I'll just stand back and watch this. And he had a funny attitude about it, just saying that it cleared the crossbar and split the uprights. And it was his relating the story, and I believe it was on Johnny Carson that he told it. Had Carson bent over, laughing so hard. So he will be missed. Luckily, he's still with us, and he's done some fine work in film as well as his playing days. He played 10 years over a 12-year span. He was out 2 seasons. But he was formidable. And the days I remember, he put on a rush that put a lineman on his butt more times than not.
It's they've got a little snippet on a website that I found, and I want to say it was, well, I'm not exactly sure who's talking about it, but they're saying his explanation of the kick was hilarious. I just kind of slowed up to watch this funny thing that was going to happen. I figured the ball would land around the 15-yard line. It just kept going and going.
Well, on that depressing note, huh?
You know, we're pretty good about that, aren't we?
Yeah.
Have we got anything else on topic? Have we got any other books or films that we want to discuss?
I kind of, you know, gave everything I had.
Is anybody reading Near Death?
No.
Or
I'm not.
Epic Kill? Epic Kill, I think, could do a good TV show. But just as a mini-series.
I have to admit, I have not heard of either one of those.
They're both Image titles.
Yeah, I looked at the Image lineup for, or in the previews, and found that I read like 11 or 12 of the 21 that they had listed or something. I don't know. I had a huge slot of them. I went, wow, I read that many?
Well, here's a question. To make a good TV show, should you rule out comics that deal with superheroes that have alien abilities, are more humanized, because you have to worry about a budget. You know, until CGI for TV gets cost effective and everything, do you just kind of rule those out? Or do you think they can be done within a moderate budget?
I think they can be done within a moderate budget, because I'm also looking at animation.
Mm-hmm.
And doing an animated superhero may be a little cheaper
Mm-hmm.
than your live action wires and pulleys type
Mm-hmm.
deal. We've got Simpsons now in the 23rd year, and I got a feeling that if they can stick around that long, I think something like that could be done for comic book heroes in animation.
Mm-hmm.
DC does their series of films, and those are, to me, are exquisite. I have not seen one yet that I dislike.
Mm-hmm.
I just think that they are able to tell stories. They do not have to fall, let me say this, they usually do not fall back on printed material for their stories.
Right.
They give you new stuff. The Green Lantern TV show on Sunday or Saturday mornings is all new. So I believe that they can create and get a good story out there without having to rely on the comics all the time. Yet they also have a monthly comic that comes out for the animated Green Lantern that has story that is different from the TV series. So they don't rely on one another. And I think that's a strong point for them.
That's cool. I watched, I guess, the pilot, the season premiere episode where Hal Jordan comes back after fighting the Red Lanterns, and he finds that he's already been replaced. I mean, both in his civilian job and his as a Green Lantern. I'm like, well, that kind of sucks. Come back to work, and you're like, you've been fired twice.
I have not seen that one yet, but I do look forward to it.
I've seen the first two. I've got them recorded, and I'm enjoying them.
Good. Do you guys believe that the animation is a way to do this, or do we have to rely on live action? Mike?
I think it depends on the title. I mean, I also think that the way they shoot live action series in this country is a little much. I think 22 1-hour episodes is hard to do. I think you're going to water down your story somewhere along the line in a 22-hour epic monstrosity. I almost would think that going animated, where you can do fewer episodes at a time, and they tend to be more like a half an hour. I mean, it just seems to me like 16 half-hour episodes, if you can pull that off, if you can crunch things down into half-hour episodes, I think you're going to get a better product overall, whether it's animated or live action.
I could see that. I could agree with that.
I don't think it's as important that it be live action versus animated. I think it's more the watering down the stories that's going to be the problem in the long run.
And plus, you know, they talk about consumers and their 7-second attention span and everything. Whoops. Am I going to have to say goodnight?
You just need to kiss her goodnight.
Hang on, guys.
Hello.
Good night.
Can you wave at everybody? Can you wave?
Good night.
Cameo.
I'll come see you in a little bit, okay? No, talking about the 7-second attention span and everything, I do find that sometimes, even in my favorite shows, about 35 minutes into it, I'm kind of looking and going, how much longer have I got? You know, do you think they can speed this up? And so it makes me wonder if maybe sometimes they're stretching it out too much, where I would enjoy a more a 30-minute version of it more than I would a full hour. And, you know, like like you say, they would be able to make the stories that much more interesting and keep viewers' attentions better.
Right, and I think they actually work a little too hard to play towards the commercial breaks. It's as if they're, I mean, you're taking an hour slot, and you're actually really only filming about 40 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
A minute on either end for credits, and you've got 42.
Yeah.
But what they're doing is they're breaking it up into like 6 chunks. So you really only have like 6 or 7 minutes at a time, and it's almost as if they're trying a little too hard to build this fake drama thing to build up to a commercial break, and then they come back and it's not as big a deal as it really was made out to be, and they do that, and then they do it again, and then they do it again, and they do it again, and then the show's over.
Yeah,
I just get bored with it. I just get so bored with it. I don't even watch much TV anymore.
Your commercial breaks turn into, what was all that about? It's, and I'm kind of like you. I do not watch near as much TV as I used to, and it's because I will watch certain shows and think, hey, it's a great premise, and I watch 1 or 2 episodes, and I'm like, yeah, I'm kind of bored now.
Yeah, they're not going anywhere with this, and it takes them 16 episodes to get to any kind of point.
Yeah,
and then they, pardon my reference, but they shoot the wad, and then it's done, and it's just so frustrating.
Potty brain. Well, it goes back to talking about which comic books would you like to see as TV shows. Of course, it's not being done. I was going to say it's Game of Thrones and that kind of thing. I'd love to see a Dungeons and Dragons or a Pathfinder, one of those comic books, turned into a TV show, because role-playing games are perfect for TV. It's like the Wednesday night encounters. You've got an hour or 30 minutes to have an encounter and progress the story that much further. So you don't have all this drama. Yeah, you'll have a little bit of role-playing thrown in there, which is your drama and your dialogue. But you're going to have your encounter, which is all the action that you want, and it's in a 30-minute chunk. You don't get bored, and at the end of the show, you're going, "Wow, that was great! I can't wait till next week." And instead of at the end of it thinking, I might give it another shot next week, and then after that episode, you're going, I'm not watching it anymore.
Right, you're like, yeah, well, I'm never going to get that hour back in my life again.
I could have been doing my hair. Yeah.
Wow, I could have alphabetized my sock drawer. What the hell was I thinking? Anyway.
But there are some of those shows that currently now do make me say, let's move on. Let's do another episode. I'm ready right now.
Yeah.
Burn Notice is one. You finish an episode of Burn Notice for me. Come on, let's move on. Let's do another one right now.
Yeah.
Because I'm ready.
And we hit the full circle back around to Bruce Campbell.
There you go.
Way to go,
that's probably a perfect place to end the show.
Everybody can end on a high with Bruce Campbell.
There you go.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, the synopsis of the show tonight: Bruce Campbell.
Everything goes through Bruce. Well, I want to thank everybody who either tuned in to watch tonight through the live broadcast or watching us in repeats. We will be back in 2 weeks. That will be October 23rd. That will be our Halloween episode. Woohoo! So hopefully everybody will be in the spirit when we start up.
In the spirit, that's funny. Yeah. I get that.
Hey, I'm good. What can I say?
I gotta get my costume.
James, you want to do any plugging before we call it a night?
I was just looking some things that are going on this week. Thursday night, if you're in Fort Worth, you get the free outdoor screening of Ghostbusters. It's called the Backlot Film Series. There's a location where one of their offices is at, and they basically take over the parking lot, show the movie on the side of the building. Everybody gets to sit outside and enjoy the weather. One really cool thing I mentioned to you guys earlier before we started broadcasting, the North Texas Book and Paper Show. A lot of rare collectible books, also postcards, pictures, just collectible stuff. It's like $5 to get in. It's over in Grapevine. Look it up. It's North Texas Book and Paper Show. And other than fan days following the next week, there's a couple of book signings. Eric Reeves is going to be down at Zeus Comics, and in Frisco, the author of the Slayer Chronicles Second Chance, Heather Brewer, is going to be doing a book signing. If you go to the website and click on my calendar, they're listed right there.
And the website name is?
A Galaxy Called Dallas.
All right, and of course, we are the fellowshipofthegeeks.net. We're on Facebook at facebook.com/the Fellowship of the Geeks. We're on Twitter at Fellowship Geeks. And Google Plus is a long-ass number. Just go to the website and you can go from there.
Is that the scientific term?
Well, I wish they would go to where we can brand it as a name, but they seem to be contrary about that, at least for now. Maybe there's enough uproar they can change that. So, until then, hope everybody has a good couple weeks. For James, Les, Mike, and myself, y'all have a good night, and we'll catch you next time.
Bye.
Night.
Later.
Hey, before y'all get off of here, have y'all ever seen the